Perfect. So let me go back to my last tab here. All right. So thank you again for coming and listening to the presentation and then engaging in that activity to get your mind starting to think about what it takes to go to grad school, what might be some of the barriers in going. So what we have here at the University of Idaho is our TRIO McNair program, and it's designed to provide resources and tools to help students go on to grad school and obtain eventually their PhD. The program was named after Dr. Ronald McNair, an African-American astronaut who received his degrees in physics from North Carolina and MIT. After his passing, Congress provided funding for the Ronald McNair Post-Baccalaureate Achievement Program. And their goal was to encourage low-income, first-generation, and underrepresented college students to expand their education opportunities by enrolling in a PhD program and ultimately, pursuing a career in academia. So the program itself is dedicated to the high standards of Dr. Ronald McNair's life. So that's a little bit of background information. So looking into eligibility, it is for low-income and first-generation students or underrepresented in your graduate education field. So as TRIO scholars yourself, you're all eligible to apply. And then, there's a few other criteria listed there below. We are pretty flexible. I think on our website, we also have a GPA requirement, but we're really flexible with those who apply and working with them because we want to make sure that we're providing the opportunities, not taking them away. So, and I skipped back, sorry about that. Okay, so going into the program, like I said earlier, McNair will help you sort of evaluate and assess where you are in order to go on to grad school. Ideally, we want you to get into a grad school of your choice and get paid to go. So there's a number of assistantships that you can apply for, stipends that are waived, or tuition that is waived for a number of things or a number of opportunities at different schools. So we help you look at what your options are and how you can budget in order to go on to grad school, or how you can achieve or receive those graduate assistantships, those research assistantships, or those teaching assistantships in order to help pay for your graduate school. With the program over here, overview, you can see here that, it's a commitment. It is something that, requires you to attend workshops and seminars. You'll be taking classes with us, and they're all geared towards building your experience and your knowledge in going on to grad school and becoming a scholar in academia. With your sophomore year, you attend the workshops, attend seminars based around that, and then you'll also be meeting with our McNair staff one-on-one. So similar to meeting with your TRIO SSS advisor, you'd be meeting with us as well, and then to ensure your GPA is keeping up and giving you any resources you may need to keep it at a good level. And then we'll have cohort meetings as well as part of that. And then your junior year, that's where you'll start taking your classes with us. You'll have one in the spring, or one in the fall and one in the spring. And those classes will introduce you to research methodologies, and you'll start on your research project. So developing a research project is one of the primary components of McNair. With the research project under your belt, you all will become what we call research scholars. And while completing a research project is not a necessary factor to go on to grad school, it does give you a leg up because you have that experience as an undergrad. So after your junior year, during the Summer Research Institute, you will actually conduct your research. So you submit a proposal, you go through those steps of how to submit a proposal works, and then you'll work alongside a faculty mentor to actually conduct your research throughout the summer. And there is a stipend for the Summer Research Institute, as well as the living expense. So totals a little over $3,000 for that summer. And you'd also participate in research seminars. We'll talk about strategies on how to get into grad school. It's very peer learning is a big part of it as well. And then you'll start prepping for your GREs. So we're starting this year, our juniors, with their GRE prep actually this Saturday. So they're going to start setting time aside to go through and work towards their GREs. So that gives them like 3 months at least before they have to take their GRE, and then there's also an opportunity to take the GRE again with the waiver that we have for them, because the GRE does cost, but with being a McNair scholar, you do get a 50% waiver for that cost. And then your senior year, you would enroll in a 1-credit class, and that would be specifically working on your grad applications with us, working on your statement of purpose, getting your letters of recommendation in order, and ensuring that you're also enrolling or registering for a conference in which you'll present your research that you've done in the summer. And so that is sort of the timeline of how things look like with the McNair program. And additional, I had mentioned earlier about the faculty mentors. They play a major role in this as well, because they are really the ones alongside with you, answering your questions about your research. You might actually be doing and helping them with some of their research collection or data collection. And they really provide that mentorship that's pretty critical in the long run for going on to grad school. So that's a little bit about it. There's a couple other finance opportunities. We would help pay for conference registration fees, as well as travel to conferences, and then visitation to graduate schools. So if you had applied to 4 graduate schools, you got accepted to all 4, and it comes down to which one you want to go to, we would help set up a visitation to those schools, where you can check out the campus, maybe talk with potential advisors there, and look at housing opportunities, things like that. So that's also what we'll provide in terms of funding as well. And then I did mention, the GRE waiver of 50%. So you'll have 2 of those if you would like to use the 2. And the last 2 bullet points were graduate school enrollment. That's the primary goal, getting you all into graduate school, and then your doctoral degree as well. So what makes McNair is a nationwide program, right? It's under TRIO, but what makes the McNair program here at U of I unique is that it was written so that students would experience and learn through an Indigenous and social justice framework. We look at how your identity plays into how you'll conduct your research, and we'll study traditional and Indigenous knowledge and how that plays a role in doing research. So our goal there is to better is sort of to help the Western Academy better understand what works from a social justice standpoint. And so your classes, your junior year, would revolve around that. And then, you can see here a few activities that we've done in the past with our scholars. One was a rafting trip where it was an overnight rafting trip on, I believe, the Snake. And so part of one of their activities was to set up a teepee, and they heard from one of our Nez Perce tribal members who spoke at that time as well. And then the bottom, that was a field trip, I think, on the West Coast. I'm a little unfamiliar with what they had done there, but there's a number of trips that we'll go on as well as a group, like an orientation trip as well. So what we're looking for in a McNair Scholar, like I mentioned earlier, that was a minimum 3.0 GPA, but like I said, I don't want that to deter you. If your GPA is below, still apply, and we'd love to hear from you, and you can sort of address that in your statement of purpose, because that is another application requirement, is that you submit a statement of purpose and 3 letters of recommendation, 2 from a faculty and 1 from an advisor. And then also you're committed to pursuing a graduate degree and a PhD. It does say STEM focused, and I realize that is a preferred, but it's not something that, it's just preferred. It's not the main, you don't have to be in the STEM fields to apply. And then strong interest in research, that you've heard or are familiar now, that a lot of our work is around research. So, and then academic maturity and commitment. Like I said earlier, it is a commitment to be a McNair Scholar. There's a number of things you'll be doing with us. So that is a little bit about what we're looking for. And then the application process. The application is online. It's due April 23rd. If you prefer to have a paper application or a PDF application, we can forward that out as well. I know the online application actually kicked someone out after 30 minutes, so it's not like, we want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So if you'd like the paper application or PDF form instead, I'm more than happy to send that to you. There is a statement of research purpose on our website. It breaks down sort of what is expected in that statement of research purpose. So if you have any questions about that, you can contact me. There is also a bullet point about, going to the writing center first and having them check your writing, check your paper. They do phenomenal work with our students. So utilizing their services is really, encouraged. And then 3 letters of recommendation. We do ask for 2 from a faculty and 1 from an advisor. If you are a freshman or a sophomore, there's a little more leeway there with switching that up for 2 from your advisors and 1 from a faculty, just because you may not have had the chance to build those relationships just yet with with the professor. And then your transcript, it can be unofficial, doesn't have to be your official one. And then some other things that are needed is a signature confirmation for income and needs analysis form. Those will come later, so it's not part of the review process. But the main thing is your application form and your statement of research purpose. Your letters of recommendation can be submitted after you turn in your statement of purpose, but they are part of the application review. So you can get your statement of purpose in, your application form in as soon as possible, and then notify your recommenders to turn their letters of rec in afterwards. But I mean, the sooner the better, because that is part of your package. And then of course your transcript as well. So if I have materials already from you, I will follow up with you on what's still missing. There was an issue with our online application for a while. Our McNair-TRIO email actually stopped working in January, and there was some things that were missed because of that. And so I'm really trying to backtrack and make sure that we're not forgetting anyone who sent an email to McNair-TRIO. So I'm encouraging everyone to send it directly to me. Your letters of recommendation, your application, everything just send it to me so we don't have that issue with the McNair email. It is working now, but we had to fix it again last week, so it was a little funky, but it should be working. I did a test this morning. So I'm going to stop share. Did we have any questions?
Could you share what your email address is for those who may not know?
Yes, I will put it in the chat. It is Dann with 2 N's. And maybe I should have left the questions slide up a little bit earlier, or a little bit longer.
No, that's okay. I was just thinking if somebody's watching it later, they would want to have a good email address for you to get in touch with you. Thank you.
Yes, and we are located in the College of Education. I'm on the 3rd floor, so it's actually almost the 1st floor if you're entering from the east side. So we're in room 320. We have a McNair lounge, and most students, have the opportunity to chill on couches. We have a conference table, a conference room, and then we have some laptops and computers for students here as well. So it's a pretty nice space. And then I didn't mention this earlier, but we are a cohort. So we serve 25 students between sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So each group is around 7 to 9-ish students in each year level. So you would be in a cohort of about 7 students. All right.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
So for the application form, I was working on the application at home, and I noticed that it needs like a signature from a parent, I think, if you're under 24. Could I get like an electronic signature, or would I need to like send it back and then have my parents sign it and then for them to send it back over here?
I believe, I think you can get an electronic signature. That should not be a problem. I will have to follow up with that because there's another, well, no, you should be able to just send it with the PDF and have them sign electronically. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, any other questions?
I had another question. I'm more like about your availability hours. If a student wanted to talk to you, like what times are you available, or like somewhere where you can look up online about your office, kind of like office hours kind of thing?
Yes. So I don't believe I'm connected to Vandal Star yet. That's how some folks are checking out staff hours. But, and I don't, let's see. Anything from like 2 weeks out or so, I have a pretty open schedule. Meetings come up with me like the week of or the next week. And it's pretty random, I should say. But I'm more than happy to, if you send me an email, just send you some times during the week, during that specific week that work for me and then for you as well. So we can come up with a time that works for both of us. So,
and also, I don't know if this is helpful, but if you have as a student Outlook, you can always go to a scheduling assistant, and then you can see Leanna's availability.
Yes, that is an option. And my calendar is pretty up to date. So if you do a scheduling assistant on Outlook, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I just check it and I say, oh, that's wonderful. We can do this.
All right. Yes. And so Lizette, if you want to send me an email after this, we can work out some times that will work to meet as well. And if you have, either of you have any other questions, Yerika, I know you stopped by and that was great. So if, don't hesitate to stop by or send me an email. I'm here Monday through Friday, 8 to late sometimes. All right, and John and Mercedes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Leanna.
for presenting, and we will put this up on our YouTube channel as well. And yeah, I really appreciate it. And also thank you for introducing me to, what is it called? Mentee.com. I think that's really fun. So we might try and integrate that into one of our presentations too. So
Yeah,
extra
unfortunately,
bonus for us
there's
to,
only 2 slides, I think, or 2 or 3, depending on what type of slide you use. That's free.
yes.
After that, you have to pay. But it was actually Evelina from camp who introduced that to me. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
nice.
that's great. Yes, I'm going to use it.
Well, I will thank you, and I will thank Evelina too, because that seems like a fun thing to get people more involved. So thank you for that.
All right. So have a good rest of your afternoon, and I look forward